What's up, everybody? We got a Marvel Strike Force Strike Spot blog for us, and this is called Age of Annihilus. As you can see on the top of the screen there, we got something crazy to go over today. I can't wait. And we're joined by, of course, not live, but he's going to be in this video, the one, the only, Path Daddy. Let's go. Let's see it. Is he back with the stash?
Greetings, Commanders.
Magnum PI lives on. Let's go. You can always trust a man with a mustache.
My name is Pathfinder, and I'm excited to share
Fucking lies. His name's Stash Daddy. Get it right.
that starting today, we're going to be having a 3-part Strike Spot miniseries on the next age of Marvel Strike Force. We're going to have a video today, tomorrow, and...
What is this? New Age Strike Spot miniseries part 1, April 7th, April 8th, April 9th. So we're going to have 3 react videos this week. Let's go. Free content. Age of Annihilus Q&A stream with RJ. He is the big boss. That's going to be a live stream. All right. Dang. Let's go. That's on Friday. Okay.
Wednesday, and we're going to be answering questions on Discord, Reddit, and Facebook for all the things that you might have. And we'll wrap things up on Friday with a live stream with our general manager, Ryan Jacobson.
Also, first look at Annihilus. I don't hate it. This first look at Annihilus, I don't hate it. I'm not a huge fan of Annihilus as a villain. I don't hate this look, though. Because I don't like Super Skrull as a villain either. But this, I don't mind. This is pretty cool.
We're going to answer as many questions as possible from you.
You hate it, X? I don't hate it. I think this is fine.
We'll also try to answer some questions live as well. We're going to repeat these things a few times throughout these videos just to make it clear, because there's a lot of information and you're not going to want to miss any of it. So strap in and let's kick off the next stage in Marvel Strike Force. All right, well, welcome everyone to this mini series that we're calling a New Age of MSF. We have back again RJ, General Manager of Marvel Strike Force. You've recognized him from our last time we did this, and we're back. We got a lot of things going on, and I wanted to ask first and foremost on how are you feeling about how things have been lately, last few months up to this point.
I think they've been great. I mean, of course, with the 7th year anniversary, I'm pretty excited that we're finally, putting that to rest, so to speak, or it's kind of the conclusion of that is happening right now. But overall, I was really happy with the anniversary. What we call our 9.0 release, right, was pretty action-packed in terms of a lot of new features going into the game. Still a lot more work for us to kind of get some of those things where we would like them to be, but I'm really excited for Command Center. Global milestone events have been great for us. So, yeah, it's been a busy few...
I completely forgot. I got to put this in the video. This is going out today. Guys, for the current temporal dimension that was going on, make sure you go in-game right now. Do this, because if you have not collected these yet, you may forget by the time it's over. Head on over to the global milestone. Even if it doesn't have a red dot, enter it, because that's going to activate the red dots. Actually, I didn't have milestone 16 available. They crunched down what was needed. So for milestone 20, before we needed 160 million points, now it's down to 31. So we might actually finish off these milestones, or at the very least collect milestone 17, probably milestone 18 as well. Get those free power cores while you can. This is way better. Like, this is actually more realistic. I like the idea of failing but coming so close to the end that it's like, hey, we as a community, we almost got everybody 1,000 cores. That's great. It definitely kind of incentivizes going harder on that, since, each person who completes it gets 20,000. It doesn't matter. We get the strike spot to watch. Just make sure you go collect those free cores before they're gone, all right? Go collect the free cores.
few months, I would say, and it's about to get a little bit busier, but overall, I'm really happy with the direction and where we're going and everything that's going on inside of the game right now.
Awesome. Well, we talk about a new age coming to MSF, but we don't just mean the Age of Annihilus. It kind of has a double meaning. Do you want to talk about what that double meaning is and how it's going to look?
Yeah, I think we spoke about it, right, in kind of one of the strike spots. I don't think, because we haven't really told the community what that age actually means yet. I think a lot of people are just like, yeah, they do ages all the time. This isn't really that exciting. I don't know why he's so excited about this new age. But I think we look back and we learned a lot from the Age of Apocalypse, right? I think there was a lot of things that the game did really well. some of the things that I think we learned from the community in terms of them not really loving being forced to kind of really power up specific teams to unlock legendaries. And then I would say, the Age of Mephisto kind of came and went and really didn't deliver the bang that I guess I was hoping for. And I think even with Age of X, we're learning some things that we could just do a little bit better job of and kind of creating the story arc, the narrative around the age, and just doing things differently. And I think this age, the Age of Annihilus, is gonna be pretty shocking to the community in terms of we're doing a pretty much a complete overhaul on the way that the game works and is going to kind of operate for the next year. And I think all of the things that we're about to talk about, in these next little few mini segments are really beneficial to all player types. And that's what we're really trying to achieve, is to make this game really fun and engaging again for everyone.
Yeah, that's really great to hear.
It's a lot of promises. It's a lot of promises. And I see people in chat talking about Vigilante, and I'm sure people want to bring up Star Gem and like that. I do think that as far as like the theory crafting stuff goes, a huge step back happened, right? I think that's probably in response to a lot of the high end game war alliances just absolutely collapsing under just the plethora of different counters and the stress of actually competing in the high end stuff. I feel like a lot of theory crafting has been tampered down just as a reaction to that. I guess we'll have to wait and see. I don't love that the Vigilante team is trash in war on offense. They're only good if you're a mid-game player or you're a new player on the come-up and you don't have any other war offense teams, right? I don't love that Starjammers, they refuse to kind of pivot on their weakest point, which is the lander not having, in my opinion, a speed stat that kind of meshes well with what our team does. Like every other team we've had since like Annihilators has one of their opening characters either flipping all the buffs, removing all the buffs, or just hitting through defense up. And Starjammers doesn't have that. And so it seems like in response to Starjammers' lackluster performance, they took away 2 rooms where the Starjammers actually struggled in. And it's like, okay, well, those were the interesting rooms. And now it's going to be straight offensive meta, and this is on the heels of Overpower. So if it's a straight offensive meta and Overpower is going to be this, it's going to be a damage defining aspect of the game. 50% additional damage is huge. It really does kind of, in my opinion, take away a lot of the theory crafting that I would say the light spending and or most active player base sits in. The people that are here on Twitch, a lot of you guys in the YouTube comments, you kind of occupy that space. And I think that in the recent weeks, that player base has been like straight up assaulted almost.
So for the players that may or may not know who Annihilus is, can you give us a little bit of lore about him? How does he fit into Marvel Strike Force?
Yeah, for those who've never seen Annihilus, first and foremost, he's a bad little dude. You know what I mean? I'm trying to not say a profanity.
I was about to say, someone said Ryan looks like a pastor. Ryan is a very he would fit in well with my old trucker buddies. All right, he definitely was holding back saying badass there for sure.
Here, but he's a rad looking villain. He is the kind of ruler of the negative zone. He uses the cosmic rod to kind of control all the inhabitants inside of the negative zone. He's definitely
that concept art was fire. If that's going to be our background for the main hub, that's nice. I like that.
Ties very well into the Fantastic Four. I would say that. And there's a lot of hype going on right now around that group, and so we felt like it would be a great time to bring him into the game. There's also some other, characters that play well and tie well into Annihilus that we will be using as kind of legendary characters throughout the year. So yeah, I'm really excited to bring him into the game, and again, I think he's one of those really super cool looking guys.
Human Torch.
Yeah, I could not agree more. I've been doing a little bit of reading as far as comic books go since learning about this announcement, and I would encourage anybody in the community, if you don't know who Annihilus is, definitely look him up. He is really a true bad guy in the Marvel universe, if you know what I mean.
He's pretty hardcore. Like people thought Johnny Storm died in a fight with Annihilus, but no. Instead, Annihilus like kidnapped him and did a bunch of experimenting on him and made him this like absolute nightmare. It's a good read. It's not on the same level as like the Null storyline. It's not, but it's good. It's good.
Talk a little bit about what we've learned in previous ages, and I think for me specifically, the Age of Apocalypse comes to mind on what a true age was. I think some players will be a little leery of that. So my question here is, what is going to be different in a good way from the Age of Apocalypse?
Yeah, like I said a second ago, I think we learned a lot from the Age of Apocalypse. I think there were a lot of great things about that age, but then also when we looked back and kind of a lot of the mirror matches, kind of the teams that we were forcing, you know, a lot of our users to build up that maybe they didn't necessarily want to. We don't want that, right? We want
Just so we can do an actual example of what he's talking about right now. People did not like having to build up their Phantom X or their Scarlet Witch or their Dazzler to gear tier, which at the max at the time was gear tier 17 purple ISO. People didn't want to do that, but you had to do that to beat the sagas to actually get Apocalypse unlocked and then to upgrade. So people didn't like having to 100% max their Horseman teams. It wasn't the Horseman characters per se that was the issue. It was the Horseman teams. Since then, they've reworked the requirements for the Apocalypse sagas. So if they just do that, like if they just want you to, like imagine for Professor X now that you are required to use Old Man Logan and Shadow King and Odin and Lilandra, which we are, right? People would not be super mad about that. But imagine if you had to max out Mercs for Money and Bifrost and Starjammers and Astral, you'd be fine with that, right? Like, you wouldn't want to max those teams up to gear tier 20. You'd be like, why the hell do I want to gear tier 20 Deadpool? That's sort of the modern day equivalency that people really would hate. So definitely don't do that.
want players to have more kind of choice and agency and what they can do inside of the game. And so I think learning from some of those past kind of mistakes, but also looking at how can we make this even better than the Age of Apocalypse, right? What could we do to make it really sing and really resonate with the community? And I think that's where we're gonna be making some pretty big changes, right? To the way that kind of the legendary characters are gonna work, the way that the shops are gonna work, the way that you're gonna earn currencies for the shops. There's just a massive overhaul that we are about to do to the game, and you know, the next year, what we call an age, right? I feel like when we look back on this age, the Age of Annihilus, we're also going to learn a lot and probably make some tweaks to the next stage. But I think overall, this is the structure that I know the game really needs and kind of wants. And so I think a lot of players are going to be very excited when they kind of see this rollout.
Awesome. Well, I think that kind of leads us into the end of this first segment, at least. So, what are we going to talk about tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow we're going to start talking about legendary characters. We're going to go pretty deep into kind of how you're going to unlock that character, how you're going to power them up. And then we're going to go into some stuff around shops and currencies. There's a lot for us to talk about in the next couple of days, but I would say, you know, for the overall, hopefully people start to get really excited about what we're about to do with the Age of Annihilus.
I know what's coming, right? I'm excited for that.
Thanks, Ryan. And as a reminder, this is video 1 in a 3-part mini-series about the new age in MSF. Today's video 1, and there's going to be another video tomorrow, and then a third and final video on Wednesday. We'll also have a Twitch stream on Friday. Just want to make sure that everyone is informed of what's going on throughout this week, as we are going to give you a lot of information. We're going to be answering a lot of questions on that stream on Friday, so don't miss it. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
Right, so not a whole lot was shared here, right? It looks like what this was, it was just they kind of hyped up Annihilus a little bit. They learned about the issues with the Age of Apocalypse, so I think you can expect not to have what I was talking about, right? Like, you're not going to have to max out whatever the teams are that correspond to the legendaries that we're going to unlock over the course of this year. They teased some stuff about shops. They didn't really talk about much in this video. This is kind of a little bit of a nothing burger, so I'm glad I got to share that global milestone stuff with you. it seems like still acknowledgement from Ryan there that, you know, the Age of Apocalypse, there's some hype there, but then for Mephisto, fizzled out. For Age of X, like, where's the hype been for Professor X? There just has been none. So I'm kind of feeling like a return to a thematic sort of gameplay, just like a year. That's pretty cool. There's a lot of stuff that I think they're going to be announcing here, which is really cool. What I did miss in this video that kind of bummed me out is we didn't hear about roguelite, right? So we got to play a bare bones skeletal structure of roguelite while we were in California, and that was great. And so I was kind of hoping, like, get this started off with a bang. Like, hey, like, roguelite's coming out next week. That's not. I wish that they would say something like that so that we'd have an idea of when it's coming. But lots of cool stuff's coming. For anyone that's not in the loop on what we want from shops, like the shops right now are absolutely useless, right? And I think that they know that because we've been talking about that like crazy. So if you're in the end game, or even if you're in like the mid game, the shops become nothing burgers, except for this shop right here, like the X-Coin shop where we have gear tier 20 stuff in here. Actually, that's all there is here, gear. There's no like T4s or anything like that. So this shop in and of itself is also lacking in my opinion. But as far as the gold shop goes, for the most part, people come in here, they scroll down, they buy one piece of green gear or blue gear, whatever the case may be, just to get their daily done. And that's it. They go to the Blitz store, they buy their energy refills. I had 800,000 Blitz credits. I spent it all for gold in a silly way. And I'm already back at 20,000. So this shop is meaningless to me. Like, if they put a character in here, I have it maxed within like a week, and that's it, right? Same with the raid store. Raid store is useless once you have these awakened abilities. This is already done. If you go to the orbs themselves, like, we get so many of these raid orbs, you can't put anything interesting in the raid stores. And so we get stuff like 17 million raid credits and 1 million elite raid credits. The arena store, once you hit a certain point, like, you're going to have all these characters farmed, and you are probably at least enjoying this store. This is the example of a store, I think, that is actually in a somewhat working state, right? Where we get the training modules. Now, can we spend the training modules to break through our arena credit hordes? I think a lot of players can. I think that I'm, as super legacy account, I kind of have this giant buffer. I'm always in the top 10, so I'll be fine. But this is the sort of store where people want to have what I call an endless resource that they can always look forward to going and buying, whether that be gold, training materials, or some other sort of resource, whatever that could be. I don't think there is anything else, actually, where we're always going to want it. It's always going to be in demand. The war store is an absolute joke, right? The war store is an absolute joke. There's nothing in here you want. Just like the raid store, we're just accruing this currency like absolutely crazy. The orbs in the raid store, at least we get these gear tier 20 orbs, which is great now, right? So, okay, this has helped me on my Professor X journey. Why do I keep pulling these tanks but not the other piece? That's going to drive me crazy that it bounce. But the war store, they don't even have regular Crimson War orbs here. Like, this store was just straight up abandoned. The Crucible store, nearly as bad. There's no Crimson orb here either. They did just put Miss Marvel in here. This is a good example, right? I'm farming Miss Marvel. I need her to appear another less than 40 times. I'm not even going to touch my Crucible credits hoard here, right? I guess the Red Star store is still what the Red Star store always was. And then the ISOs, half of these stores, there's no reset session. When I have a store reset, I come in here, I buy this entire row, I skip the gold store, I buy this, I come here, I buy that. At least for the next 2 weeks, I'll be coming in to pick up Miss Marvel. And then after that, that's it. I'll go coin store, blitz store, arena store, and then I'll walk away. And that, like, why am I excited for the end of a raid? Well, currently we kind of are because of the Armory 20, right? Why am I excited for the end of a war? There's no amount of currency I get at the end of the war makes me come to the store and be like, what can I get now? Same with Crucible. Like, why should I be excited for the end of these PvP game modes? There's no reason. So that's the issue that they need to address with whatever they're trying to do with the store. And I'm hopeful they're going to stick the line in there. Anyway, that's the Strike Spot, guys. We'll have another one of these tomorrow. Hopefully they're going to share some juicier stuff. Wasn't much going on here, but hopefully we've outlined the issues that we can expect them to answer tomorrow. All right, hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
That's it for the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Stay happy, healthy, have fun, and I'll see you in the next one.